Polar and non-polar covalent bonds. We know that atoms combine and result in the formation of molecules or compounds. During their combination, they form a bond between the atoms. The bond formed between the atoms can be ionic or covalent in nature. The existence of a 100% ionic bond or a covalent bond represents an ideal situation. However, in reality, no bond is completely covalent or completely ionic. It means that in some cases, covalent bond between two atoms that may have some ionic character if it is covalent in nature. What happens? Actually, when a covalent bond is formed between two similar atoms, such as for example H2 molecule है हमारे पास, the bond present between hydrogen and hydrogen atom, that is equivalent bond, and the shared pair of electrons in this bond, the shared pair of electrons means the electrons present between the two hydrogen atoms, these are called shared pair of electrons, is equally attracted by the two atoms because both these two atoms have the same electronegativity. Both have the same tendency to attract shared pair of electrons towards itself. Another example is क्लोरीन मॉलिक्यूल है. क्लोरीन मॉलिक्यूल में भी जो बॉन्ड बन रहा है वो कोवलेंट बॉन्ड है और इस बॉन्ड को भी हम क्या बोलेंगे कि यहाँ पे भी जो शेयर्ड पेयर ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स है ये equally attracted by the both sides. More examples are there. For example, nitrogen molecule, oxygen molecule, fluorine molecule, etc. All these molecules have similar atoms and that's why the shared pair of electrons in these molecules are attracted equally by both types of atoms. So this type of bond is known as non-polar covalent bond. But if the atoms forming bonds are different, the electron attracting powers of the two atoms in a bond may differ. For example, in a molecule of HCl, we know that there is a electronegativity difference between hydrogen and chlorine atom. So the bond formed between hydrogen and chlorine atom, we know that contains two shared pair of electrons, and because of the electronegativity difference between hydrogen and chlorine, the electronegativity of chlorine atom is more than that of hydrogen. So by this what happens, the shared pair of electrons remains closer to the chlorine atom, so thereby gaining some partially negative charge on the chlorine atom and hydrogen partially positive charge. So because of the development of such type of a charge between these two atoms, this bond is not a non-polar covalent bond because there is some ionic character here. So we can say that the molecule is now polar in nature. पोलर कोवलेंट बॉन्ड. तो यहाँ पे जो हाइड्रोजन और क्लोरीन के बीच में जो बॉन्ड बना वो पोलर कोवलेंट बॉन्ड है बिकॉज ऑफ द इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिविटी डिफरेंस बिटवीन द टू बॉन्डेड एटम्स. तो इस तरह से हम कह सकते हैं कि द मॉलिक्यूल विच हैव अपोजिटली चार्ज्ड पोल्स आर कॉल्ड पोलर मॉलिक्यूल्स. तो यहाँ पे हम ये कह सकते हैं कि जो HCl मॉलिक्यूल है, HCl एक पोलर मॉलिक्यूल है. पोलर मॉलिक्यूल, HCl पोलर मॉलिक्यूल है. और ऊपर जितने भी हमने एग्जांपल्स दिए जैसे नाइट्रोजन है, ऑक्सीजन है, फ्लोरीन है, वी कॉल दिस एज ए नॉन पोलर मॉलिक्यूल्स बिकॉज ऑफ द जीरो इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिविटी डिफरेंस बिटवीन देयर एटम्स. नेक्स्ट एग्जांपल लेते हैं हम, जैसे वाटर मॉलिक्यूल है. तो वाटर मॉलिक्यूल में हमारे पास टोटल 3 एटम्स है, 2 हाइड्रोजन एटम्स है और 1 ऑक्सीजन एटम है. तो यहाँ पे भी क्या है, ऑक्सीजन है. ऑक्सीजन की इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिविटी ज़्यादा होने की वजह से जो हाइड्रोजन के साथ बॉन्डेड इलेक्ट्रॉन्स हैं they remains closer to the oxygen atom because of the high electronegativity of oxygen atom. So thereby it gains partially negative charge and hydrogen because of its electropositive nature it gains partially positive charge. So due to this the molecule of water, that we call this molecule of water as a polar molecule. Another one example we have, this is a hydrogen fluoride molecule. In this molecule, again there is electronegativity difference. The electrons used for the formation of covalent bond between hydrogen and fluorine that remains far off from the hydrogen means nearer to the fluorine atom, so thereby gaining negative charge, and hydrogen by losing its electrons it gains positive charge, and due to formation of the two poles, oppositely charged poles, we again call this molecule as a polar molecule, and the bond formed between the two atoms, that's called a पोलर बॉन्ड। एटम्स के अंदर जितना ज़्यादा इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिविटी डिफरेंस होगा उतना ही ज़्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग पोलैरिटी होगा। फॉर एग्जांपल वी हैव HF molecule, HCl molecule, HBr molecule and HI molecule. So as we know that electronegativity of fluorine is more electronegative than chlorine, than bromine, than iodine. The electronegativity order of these halogens is like this. So more the electronegativity difference between the two bonded atoms, more will be the polarity in the molecules. तो यहाँ पे जो इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिविटी होती है फ्लोरीन की वो 4.0 होती है, क्लोरीन की 3.0 होती है, ब्रोमीन की 2.8 होती है और आयोडीन की 2.5 होती है। तो अब इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिविटी डिफरेंस ज़्यादा होने की वजह से जो पोलैरिटी है वो भी उसी के अकॉर्डिंग बढ़ती जाती है। जैसे HF में जो वैल्यू है पोलैरिटी की वो डाइपोल मोमेंट से निकल के आती है और वो है 1.78 D। इन केस ऑफ HCl it is 1.07 D। In case of HBr it is 0.79 dipole moment, means D is the Debye unit है इसकी, और 0.38 D in case of HI, means HF is more polar in nature than HCl, than HBr, than HI. So by knowing the electronegativity of an atom and by taking the difference between the bonded atoms in electronegativity, we can say that which one bond is highly polar in nature or which one is the smaller. So how to calculate the polarity of a bond, and we will take the help of a dipole moment, and जो हमें degree of polarity के बारे में बताती है।